Good evening, teacher. Now I'm going to talk about method and methodology. Method, it can be described by 3 points. The first one is philosophic, scientific, and educational. Philosophic, it's about the deals with a simulation of any theoretical or practical activity that comes out as a result of the study of any subject. The second one deals with theory that is verified for practice and is used as a principle that regulates knowledge. And the last one, result of the two first, that it's a way of organizing a student's understanding that permits them to achieve not only the knowledge and its methods, but also its practical way to teaching. And about methodology is a body of method, rules, and postulates employed by a discipline. There are some theory, but a brief description of methodology is a group of techniques used by teachers in order to teach the content of any language course to not-native students. And about the method, there are approach, design, and procedure. The first one, there are two theories: a theory of natural language, a theory of natural of language learning, and it can be structural, functional, or interactional. Next is the design, the general and specific objectives of the method, a syllabus model, the types of learning and teaching activities, learner roles and teacher roles, the role of instructional materials. And the last one is procedure. Classroom techniques, practice, and behaviors when the method is used, resources in terms of time, space, and equipment used by the teacher, interactional partners observed in lessons, and the last one is tactics and strategies used by teachers and learners when the method is being used. Thank you.
The language it is a set of sounds, vowel words, and the combination of words. It is used as a means of communication of ideas or feeling for the interaction of people. The learning it is a relatively permanent change in a behavioral trend and is the result of reinforced practice while gaining knowledge, understanding, and adapting to the domain through study or experience. Teaching is a winding facilitating learning, enabling the students to learn, establishing conditions for learning. First, language acquisition theories. Behaviorist theory it is based on human linguistic behavior and the relationship between those responses and the events of the world that surrounds them. There are different authors of the behaviorist theory with different perspectives. For example, general theory of learning by operant conditioning. Language is learned consciously through oral stimuli or but not through rewards. Generative theory: children learn the first language through an innate linguistic mechanism that allows them to learn the language spoken in their environment. The nativist approach it is a kind of inborn device that comes with children when they are born. The cognitive approach: the human mind is organized into levels: memory, perception, thought, meaning, and emotion.
Theories of second language acquisition. There are four theories of second language acquisition, which are based on psychological principles of how the second language is learned. The first theory is called the classical behavioralism. In this theory, it is held that any kind of learning is shown in terms of association, which are the result of a stimulus with a response. So that means that some person is giving a stimulus that could be oral, visual, or written, and then they give a response that is on a specific behavior. The next theory is the neo-behaviorism theory. So in this theory, the psychologist Skinner um, tries to give us the meaning that the learning is based on the behavior of the person. So this theory is based on in psychological principles. So in this theory, the psychologist Skinner designs a special language teaching method that is known as program instruction. So in this special teaching method, the learning process is given in the way that first there are given simple facts about the information, and to conclude is given the difficult ones. So when the facts are given, there are made questions about the information, and then there are given the correct answers to the students. So those are reinforcers to give the information. The third theory is called cognitive learning theory. This theory is based on the cognitive um, learning of the person. So this meaningful procedure is composed of signals, symbols, ideas, and notions about the language. In this theory, there are two kinds of learning. The first one is called rote learning, and the second is meaningful learning. So in the rote learning, the person learns what is given in that moment, so the information is memorized. And in the meaningful learning, the most important information is kept in the brain. So the information that is not relevant is going to be forgetting by little. So when the time passes through, the person only keeps the most relevant information that considers important to, to them. And the last theory is called the humanistic psychology theory. In this theory, we must know that is based on the personality and environmental features of the person. So the knowledge that the person builds up will depend on the personal background of the person. So and these aspects become conscious of the person. The person makes his own criteria or about what is important to learn and what the person considers adequate to learn. So the information will be kept in the brain depending on how, how conscious is the person to to understand what is important to learn. And those were the four theories of second language acquisition.
Language learning. Learning allows only superficial description on language acquisitions. With the vast and analyzed contribution attributed to the spell called generalization, which the fact includes almost everything of the interest in the progress. If the study of language is limited in this way, it seems inevitable that the major aspects of verbal behavior will remain a mystery. The stimulus and response equivalence that can occur in the frames. They place great emphasis on imitation, aid over, or covert as a force in establishing linkages between stimulus and response and the claim that a child generalizes to from class of the responsables. However, they do not explain how control of the such classes the child to build longer sentences. His theory does not attempt to analyze complex issues. It just hints at them, the linguistic theory that Jenkins and Palermo. And thank you.
Good evening. my history. My my presentation my presentation is language acquisition. Learning is a complex process of discovery, collaboration, and can facilitated by language composite of interrelate, sorry, and really governed symbol systems. Language is a social and unicality. Human means of representing, exploring, and communicating. Name, yes, as well as by defining future of cultural language is an unmistakable mark of personal identity and is essential for forming interpersonal relations, understanding social situations, studying experience, mhm, referencing on thoughts and action, and contributing to a democratic society. Language is the primary basis of all communication and the primary instrument of thought. Language development is called the cognitive process by which human beings, children already know most and the grammar of their native language before and they in the years old. Yes, language in the learning. Um, Making use of their innate linguistic competence, learning to communicate verbally using the natural language using in their environment and the time of brain and during childhood youth puberty. Thank you.